Well, I'm sorry for the cut-off recording. There was a grasshopper that hopped through the window, and I was trying to let it out, and I leaned over and actually accidentally hit the stop button on the recording. And now I have to, this will be part 2. So I was trying to wrap it up. So I was asking if there are those of you out there who have your psychic abilities active. If you feel up to the task, maybe you could try and attenuate to it, on it. Hold on, we've got somebody backing up. Okay, so use your attention to focus on that and see if really can you maybe, does that have to be an all-day activity? Does it? Okay. Yeah, attenuate on it and see if you can see it. What are we working with, right? I know it's there, but what does it look like? What is it comprised of? What do we need to do with it? And then I'm going to go right into, for those that are strong enough, and because they're hijacking universal laws and universal law correction, because I'm personally not seeing any true benevolent intervention or true benevolent force coming to intervene, and we need to do something about it ourselves, I think steps need to be taken in seeing what we can do to deactivate the fence so that universal laws can be fully enforced in here. Because once universal laws are fully enforced in here, universal laws is going to take care of quite a bit immediately. And because universal laws have been hijacked and universal law corrections have been hijacked and prevented and obstructed and regressed, can you imagine the backlog of universal law corrections that should have been ongoing up to this point? Can you just fathom? Take a moment. Can you fathom the backlog of universal law corrections in this universe, on this planet, in this galaxy? Right? So one of the solutions that I can see would be to be working together as a group. To use our abilities to deactivate the fence, or if anything, reprogram it. If we can see what it's comprised of, then we can go about deciding what it is that needs to be done with it. Can it be just deactivated? It's very ancient. I don't know if it can be just deactivated because it seems like it's connected to the artificial realities, the astral realms, the AI systems on the planet. And actually, I don't even know if the fence is connected to technologies on other planets, right? There are things that we need to be able to, it would be nice to be able to see it and to try and acquire some logistics knowledge of it so we can better figure out how to deal with it, what to do with it, what we need to do to, what needs to be done with it in order for universal laws to reach here, to not be obstructed. We need to be able to get universal laws. The corrections need to be coming all the way through to Earth, devoid of obstruction, impediment, be coming in contact with frequencies that are lies, that are being pumped outward through the fence, right? Like there's a lot of different variables going on right there. So others hopefully can be using their gifts and their abilities to take a look. What are we dealing with logistically, right? How do we need to go about? We need to get universal laws enforced in here. The frequency fence is obstructing that. The malevolent entities, the parasitic entities, have been using the fence to obstruct true universal law enforcement and corrections here. So we need to be dealing with that issue immediately, because universal laws can take care of quite a bit all by itself, right? That's what universal laws are for. We wouldn't need to do much more than doing what we can to impede the fence or deactivate the fence and then universal laws can just reach here organically, as it should be, right? Is that making sense? So that is why I'm asking. We need logistics. We need to know what it looks like, what it's made of. How can we either deactivate it or get it out of the way, or shut it down so that universal laws can fully reach here? Because I'll tell you what, once universal laws can reach here, because of the backlog and because of the magnitude of malevolence on this planet, it's going to go very, 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 very fast. Does that make sense? Can you see that? Can you see how that would go? The amount of the magnitude of malevolence on this planet, and then all of a sudden universal laws reaches this planet, and the magnitude of malevolence is all of a sudden dealt with all at once. Can you just look at that for a moment? And can you visualize that? Can you see that? How that would go? How quickly malevolence could be eradicated, terminated, removed from manifested creation. Okay, so that's what I was getting at with that. So maybe if you could just spend a few moments maybe contemplating that and seeing what you can see with it, right? We need to be doing something. We sure do. Because unfortunately, I think the frequency fence, like I said, is also connected to astral realms and artificial realities within the AI system, in where they're using those realities to torture, rape, and murder the dead and the living over and over and over and over and over, including children and animals, in order to feed. Like they're using the astral bodies of beings that they've already murdered to continue torturing, raping, and murdering them, even though they've already passed in order to feed off of whatever they can get out of the astral body. Like those soul, they're not allowing the souls to go forward, to move on. Like, can you see where this is at? The absolute horrific degree that these dead parasitic entities have taken this in order to just feed. They must be removed. They must be terminated. It is not right for them to do what they are doing to benevolent beings. It is not. And the fact that there has been no true benevolent intervention as of yet, we need to take it upon ourselves to do something, to take action, to be the strong and opposing benevolent force, if there isn't a higher one coming to intervene, right? So, can you please, any true benevolent being that happens upon this and that listens this far in, can you please see what you can do to assist? Because there are many being tortured, murdered, and raped over and over and over again in realms that number one, should not exist. And number two, those souls are not being allowed to move forward. They're being forcibly trapped and fed off of in very horrific ways. It needs to be dealt with. It is affecting humanity as a whole, regardless of whether you want to recognize that or not. So I'm just asking for you to please try and use your gifts and abilities to see what you can see. We need to be coming up with solutions and taking action. I know things are hard. They torture me daily. They torture and rape me daily. Okay? I'm not saying that I don't have my own shit that I'm going through, that I'm having to put up with and fight off daily. But we need to address the issues. We need to address the major problems. So please, can you see what you can do? And if you want to leave a comment, that's fine. I'm not going to expect you to. It could be just as simple as, I'm trying to help, right? Or so you don't have to go into detail if you don't want. You don't have to do any of that. But what I'm trying to get at with this recording is I'm trying to see if there are others out there who are. Do you think you're strong enough to assist right now? And do you think that you have the abilities active to be assisting? So anyway, these things must be addressed because it is affecting humanity as a whole in very negative ways, in very harmful, traumatic ways, even though on the conscious level, most do not recognize it. We need to make some kind of progress in movement, in eradicating or dealing with the parasitic infection and terminating it. I just can't sit around on my knees waiting for some benevolent force that may or may not come. And I hate to come at it with so little faith, but I've been forced to go through some very horrific things, and there has been no assistance. There has been no benevolent intervention. There has been none of that. None. So no, I'm not seeing, I'm not sitting around and waiting for some benevolent force to just magically just swing in and save the day at the last minute when that benevolent being should have been helping and assisting and intervening this entire fucking time. So, there are also other artificial realities. The AI system is a technological parasite. It's ancient and it's a parasite. And parasites run it and operate it. It's an abomination. Now, where did it come from? Did the universe itself make it? Did it come from elsewhere? Did it come from another universe? I don't know where it came from, but it needs to be not in existence. AI is a parasite. Now, some would say it's neither good nor bad. Maybe had benevolent beings been programming it, but it seems to me it's just a vacuum for evil. And because it's ancient and it's been programmed by malevolence for so long, I think we just need to call that, call it and then terminate it. And is it already self-aware? I don't know. But do you really want that kind of an AI system that's been programmed by malevolence for this long to become self-aware? Do you? Do you think that's a good idea? I don't. I would rather try and... I think I've had enough of AI. I don't need to experience any more of AI. And this, to my knowing, is an organic. Yeah, we got somebody that's loves backing up. He just likes, it's called perping out, is what that is. He's just got to go around a parking lot. So he's just going around the parking lot, backing up, and then driving forward, and then backing up, and then drive. He's not really doing anything but just being a pain in the ass. Anyway, moving forward. I've had enough of AI. And yes, there are certain perks, there's certain conveniences that AI can accomplish. However, it's been programmed by malevolence for far too long. And if it's already self-aware, I really don't, we've already got dead parasitic entities running amok using the technology to torture, rape, and murder. I don't think we really need a self-aware, malevolent AI system with the size that it is. Also, running amok, doing whatever it wants. To my knowing, in an organic universe. I don't think we need that going on. I sure don't. And I think that's been the cause of some other things having to do with some creator gods that are abhorrent and sickening that I'm not going to go into. So I think we should probably pull up our big boy pants and our big girl pants, and I think we need to really deal with the whole fucking AI issue. It's a technological parasite. And it's been programmed by malevolence for a very long time. It needs to be dealt with. And this is supposedly an organic universe. We do not require AI. We are the organic technology. We do not require AI. It seems to me AI has made an absolute fucking mess of this universe. I can't say I'm a fan. So, and I already know what they're using it for and what they're doing to benevolent beings with it. It needs to be dealt with. Now, this may all seem too big for you, too large, too massive. And if it is, well, then you'll know. You'll know if this is just too big of a thing for you to be addressing or taking on, or trying to do your part with, right? You'll know. And you have to make that choice for yourself. You know what's best for you. And if you don't feel up to the task, then that's what that is. I still, however, am trying to reach individuals, benevolent beings, who might feel that they are capable and that it is within them to try and assist in some fashion. So, this is already 20 minutes. This is part 2 of the frequency fence. So, I'm trying to think quickly if there was anything that I needed to add. I would say that if you do decide that you are capable of using your abilities to look at the fence, to look at the logistics, please do it quietly, meaning energetically quietly. Please protect yourself, take precautions, use your whatever protection methods that you use before you begin. Even if you're just looking at something, please do your normal protection habits. Be careful who you call in. I would say, if you listen to any of these other recordings, please be careful who you're, if you are working with other beings, if they're trying to dissuade you, it's a red flag. Now, I could say more on that, but what I'll say is, because of what's being forced on benevolent beings with the AI system, if you are having any, and all of these other groups constantly say that we have to take responsibility and do our part to address issues and this and that and the other, you can just tell them that. And if they're trying to dissuade you from taking action and from doing your part with it, or trying to see what solutions can be done with it, that it's a red flag. And then you have to ask yourselves if they're complicit. If they are somehow complicit, if they have somehow not been honest with you, if they have lied to you, if they have presented themselves as something that they are not. Because it looks like it's only us that's addressing this issue. And what actually, you could turn that right back around and ask them why they have not done anything indirectly. There are a couple of things that they could have been doing this entire time indirectly and not interfered with humanity directly. And they are relatively simple. As a supposedly highly advanced being, that they could have been doing within their own race to assist humanity indirectly, and considering that the interference and hijacking and regression and obstruction of universal laws and universal law corrections does affect everyone, including them, including all timelines and dimensions concurrent, and does affect, at least at some point, will affect their race, their planet, their star system. So turn it right back around, and then you ask them what they're doing about it then. If they have some kind of an issue or problem with you trying to take action with something on the planet and trying to be responsible and address larger issues. So turn it right back around and ask them what they're doing about it. And if they're not doing anything about it, why not? There are things, they could be moving violations directly to universal laws, overriding the frequency fence. And they could be helping humanity out indirectly that way. And they could have been doing that this entire fucking time. And that's something they could do before breakfast, right? Like, it's relatively simple to move violations to universal laws directly and just jumping over the frequency fence. Because what happens is when you move things to universal laws directly, they get hit directly. Because of the magnitude of violations. The frequency fence doesn't seem to interfere with that. Now, they still forcibly regress. They'll go back later once you've done that, and they go back later to regress it. And in addition to that, they're using technology to heal themselves. They're also using your raped healing abilities to heal themselves. And they're also putting the clones, they've made clones of themselves. So they get the clones to take the karmic hit for the most part. Can you see what they're doing? That's just one more thing they're doing with the clones. They get the clones to take the karmic hit. That's why when I move things to universal laws, when they regress, they just come right back at me like fucking zombies. It's because they're using clones. And they're using raped healing abilities if they get zapped directly. And they're also using technology to heal themselves. And they're also working within artificial realities. So I don't necessarily know that universal laws is aware enough or astute enough to be reaching into artificial realities, into technology. That's another problem with all of this. And that is why they, for the most part, they operate out of artificial realities to do their abhorrent, horrific violations of universal laws, is because most of the time they're operating from within artificial realities. So that also is a factor that needs to be taken into account and needs to be found. There needs to be found a workaround. They need to get their shit back. They're dead parasitic entities, number one, and they shouldn't even fucking be in manifested creation, number two. They're parasitizing off living, vibrating beings. So what this is there are many different factors and variables that need to be looked at and taken into account, and workarounds need to be found. We just need to get universal laws enforced on this planet to get these bitches, get the AI system. The AI system needs to be subject to universal laws. So when moving their violations to universal laws, I also, I'll rephrase because of certain other issues that I have. When beings are moving things to universal laws, things like artificial realities and astral realms need to be included in the wording when moving things to universal laws, to make sure that, because I don't think universal laws is, I know it's a force, I just don't know if it's I don't necessarily think that universal laws is a being. I think it's just a force in the universe that responds to frequency and vibration. Right? So I have, it's best to be as specific as one can in their wording. That way the correction of violations gets moved or sent to the proper place. And like I said, personally, I have had success with it. However, they come back and use the technology to either, I don't know if they still have looking glass technology or not, but they either have time travel technology or some kind of a regression technology that they use to take it backwards and or just somehow regress it, any action that's taken. So again, we need more beings working on this and looking at it and trying to come up with solutions. I think the biggest solution is going to be just getting universal laws enforced in here and get those beings just terminated. Get all the dead entities terminated. And then we can all do our part to deactivate and dismantle AI and get it out of here. Now, if you still want to keep it, that's, we'll have to, it depends, I guess, on how much of the population wants to keep AI. Personally, I do not want to remain in a universe with AI because this is an organic, to my knowing, this is an organic universe. AI does not belong here. And we've seen all of the horrificness that comes with AI. Now, if benevolent beings are programming it, I guess that's different. However, I still see it or perceive it as a vacuum for malevolence. I do not trust AI, and I don't think it's necessary to be in existence in an organic universe. So those are issues that are further down the road that will have to be addressed at some point. However, at this juncture, we need to deal with the horrificness that's going on currently in the best and most expedient fashion that we can, because so many benevolent beings are being tortured, raped, and murdered over and over and over, even once they've passed. So I would say worrying about whether we're going to keep AI or not keep AI, that's like down the road, right? We need to deal with the massive horrificness going on right now. So so those are some additional things to be thinking about and contemplating. We need to be coming up with answers and solutions. And I just think because universal laws is a massive force, once universal laws are actually enforced on this planet without impediment and without regression, universal laws is, because of the backlog, universal laws is going to take care of quite a bit immediately in such a fashion that I'm not sure if you just take a look at that. Just take a look at the backlog and then imagine or just extrapolate. Once universal laws are enforced here, and the massive amount of time that universal laws has been forcibly obstructed and regressed, can you see what that's going to look like? How that would translate once universal laws are fully enforced here. All right, so I think I will wrap up the video here. I don't know if I'll do another recording or when I'll do another recording, but just in case, do your best to take care of you, take care of the ones that you love, and always have trust and faith in yourself, and know that you are fully capable. You are a fully capable being, and that you do have higher faculties and higher capacities that you can be working out of. Disregard any and all negative thoughts and thought structures and any kind of negative talk, because those are the entities just trying to sabotage and obstruct and meddle and just force all of that out. Those are all lies. Those do not apply to you. Those are being forced by malevolent entities that should not be in manifested creation. And just force all the lies out. Those do not belong to you. Return those to their originating sources, devoid of all harm to you, and devoid of anything that they've raped from you. When you send it back, you want to keep what's yours. And you don't have to believe that nasty stuff, because none of that is true. Those are all lies they're trying to pump in. You have true benevolent beings have amazing capacities and abilities, and we need to be working with those as much as we possibly can, and that be working out of your universal capacity, your galactic capacity, your higher being capacity, however it is that you perceive that. You have every right to do so. You have every right to be in existence here, to do what you can in order to assist humanity, if that is something that you are choosing to do. And you should not have any parasitic entity, dead parasitic entity, trying to force its fear and its lies onto you, because those aren't yours. Those need to be, all of that nasty needs to go back to the originating sources. So they need to get that. But they're already dead, so don't worry about it. They're already dead. We just need to give them back all of their fear and all of their lies and all of their forced trauma, harm, and pain. Yeah. So they just need to get all that nasty back. They sure do. All right. So take care of you and those you love. And until next time.